In a recent video, I showed how to unlock the UMBRAL recorder so you can decrypt UMBRAL engrams. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get UMBRAL engrams so you can get the loot that you want, such as Now in Hunger, the legendary auto rifle, and Night Watch, the legendary scout rifle. Before I show the method, I want to give advice on what type of loadouts you may want to use so you can do the activity smoothly and quickly, resulting in getting more UMBRAL engrams to decrypt so you can get the loot that you want. You can do this method in any character, Titan, Hunter, or Warlock, it doesn't matter. For the Titan, you can use any subclass that you want, but if you're going to use Striker, I recommend using bottom tree Striker because of the perk Trample, destroying enemies with Fist of Havoc extends its duration. There's going to be a lot of enemies to kill in this activity, which is why Trample is going to come in handy. If you're going to use Sunbreaker, I recommend using middle tree Sunbreaker, which is Burning Maw. Good when it comes to killing low tiered enemies, which is what this activity has a lot of. Lastly, if you're going to use Sentinel, I recommend using Word of Dawn, just because when you put Word of Dawn and you pass through it, weapons get a temporary increase in damage both to you and your allies. If you don't want to use Word of Dawn, you can use bottom tree Sentinel, which is Shield Bash, just because it's efficient at killing low tier enemies, which this activity has a lot of. If you're going to use the Hunter to do this activity, I recommend using Blade Barrage, and if you're going to use the Warlock to do this activity, I recommend using Nova Bomb or bottom tree Dawnblade. The weapons I recommend to use is the Mountaintop, Recluse, and a grenade launcher that has spike grenades, just because grenades fired from this weapon do increase damage on direct hit. This perk is useful to kill high tier bosses a lot quickly than if you use a grenade launcher without it. Also, you should put a boss spec on your grenade launcher that has spike grenade, because boss spec increases damage against bosses, which this activity has. If you don't have Recluse to use in this activity, I recommend using any other submachine guns that you like, such as the 7th Sorrel, Death Adder, the Kilos SMG. The only reason you want to use Mountaintop for this activity is because of spike grenades. So if you don't have Mountaintop available, just use another grenade launcher that has spike grenades. If you don't want to use a grenade launcher that has spike grenades for your power weapon, then I recommend using the Sword Falling Guillotine because it kills bosses a lot quickly. If you don't have a grenade launcher that has spike grenades or Falling Guillotine for your power weapon, then I recommend using the Warcliffe Foil because it's also useful at killing bosses. And it's also useful at clearing waves of low tier enemies, which this activity has a lot of. And if you don't have the Warcliffe Coil, then I recommend using a rocket launcher that has Cluster Bomb. Not only is a rocket launcher useful against bosses, but if a rocket launcher also has Cluster Bomb, it's also useful against waves of low tier enemies, which this activity has a lot of. If you don't have a rocket launcher that has Cluster Bomb, then I recommend using Anarchy, which is a grenade launcher, just because of the intrinsic trait Arc Trap. Grenades stick to surfaces and chain arc bolts to other mines. Anarchy is very useful against bosses and to clear waves of low tier enemies, which this activity has a lot of. The activity you want to do is a public event contact. In my video where I showed how to unlock the UMBRAL recorder so you could decrypt UMBRAL engrams, I showed how to unlock the contact public event, so go ahead and watch that video first and then come back to this video. The recommended power for this activity is 990, but don't worry if you're not 990 because there's gonna be other people doing this public event, which means you'll get help in completing the public event. Once you unlock the public event, you're gonna want to go to the location to complete the public event. The public event takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete depending on how many people are doing the public event and how fast you complete the waves. Once the public event starts, you're gonna kill enemies. Once you kill those enemies, these things are gonna appear. They're called motes, so you're gonna want to pick them up before they disappear. Once you pick them up, you're gonna go to this thing that's in the middle and you're gonna deposit them. And you do this until you get to 100%. There are 3 waves before you get to the boss, and there's also a time limit that you have to complete it in. You can only hold 10 of these modes, so once you reach 10 modes, you're gonna go to the middle and you're gonna deposit them. There's gonna be an indicator of how many modes you've collected at the left side of your screen, and watch out for that because every time you get 10, you're gonna have to go to the middle and deposit them. Once you kill the boss at the end of the 4th wave, you're gonna be granted 1 UMBRAL engram. I have to warn that the waves get harder until you reach the boss. You get a lot more yellow bar enemies as the wave progresses. I also have to say that the public event helps you because there's a heavy ammo crate near the thing that you're supposed to deposit your emotes in. There's also a time limit that you have in order to get that heavy ammo. Once you reach the final wave, which is the boss wave, you're gonna have to kill the boss in order to get the UMBRAL engram at the end. As you can see, I completed the public event and the UMBRAL engram appeared on the right side of my screen. You do this method for however many UMBRAL engrams that your heart desires. That'll be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!